Hey guys, today we're gonna be watching Los Angeles. Please change my 18th, 2015. Okay, they're in a hotel of that suspect. Now he's going on the wrong side of the road. Let's listen now. He's on the wrong side of the road. And go down the road. Right side of the road. Right side of the road. Turning right on to the big rig truck. Jumping over the curb as well. Let's listen. What? Oh. Okay, let you talk. Have the evening. Get over.
Supplemental paid sick leave passed the assembly. It entitles employees to 40 hours of PTO going back to January.
Our workforce was upended amidst this surge, forcing many to work sick or to make a choice between losing their job or taking care of their health or the health of a loved one. This is not an option that people should ever have to make.
But Vice Chair of the Budget Committee, Vince Fong, said without help from the Fed this time around, the cost will be troublesome.
Members, why not offset these costs with a state tax credit or exemption?
Oh
The
my.
legislative analyst's office provided estimates of $500 million to over $1 billion of costs borne entirely by businesses and nonprofits statewide. There is no relief provided for this.
Chair Phil Ting said he recognizes the burden.
I do want to align myself with some of the comments my vice chair made to ensure that small businesses definitely need financial relief to get that relief. We're not able to get that into this proposal, but something that we continue to talk about. We really would love to see that in the June budget proposal.
But despite the cost concerns, the bill passed with flying colors.
And the lack of a safety net for our workforce may have contributed million Californians testing positive for COVID-19 and more than 80,000 lives lost to the virus to date. Today's vote is held as one of the social and moral consciousness because COVID-19 is truly a life or death issue.
900,000 lives lost to COVID-19. That tragic milestone was marked today at the Washington National Cathedral. The bell rang 900 times in memory of Americans who died during the pandemic. And while we are tracking COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations as they are now falling across the nation, other states are also easing guidelines. Delaware is lifting the indoor mask mandate later this week. New Jersey is planning to do the same with schools next month. Nationwide, daily cases are down by 61% since the peak. COVID-19 patients getting care at hospitals is down 45%.
A much better space. I worry about might we have a future variant? We might. Might we have future surges? We might. So I don't think we can say COVID is over, but I think we can say we're in a much better place, and we can get our lives back.
And so, public health experts are now looking at those falling case rates and talking about the next phase of the pandemic.
They say we're potentially a few months away from COVID-19 becoming something called endemic, where case rates are stable and low. ABC 10's Becca Hoziger spoke with doctors about what that could mean.
The word endemic is used to describe a disease that settles into a population at a stable case rate, and while it doesn't go away, can become more manageable.
I hope that it ends up looking like the way we treat influenza.
Infectious disease specialist Dr. Stephen Parodi is the clinical lead for Kaiser Permanente's coronavirus response.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet in terms of being at an endemic state. The good news is that Northern California is starting to see a downturn, and the hope is that over the next couple of months we will get to an endemic state.
In the early spring and later spring, we're going to be dealing with a period of relatively highly immune population, much higher than we've ever had throughout the pandemic, and a disease level that's much lower than where we are right now.
That, plus increasingly available testing and better treatments, mean this spring could put a real dent in COVID-19's impact.
And turning to our weather, Monica, another nice sunny day. It certainly was, and near
Oh, hi.
highs on tap for the 1 week forecast.
This comes. Okay. Okay.
We've got 40s and 50s for the foothills in Nevada City, Placerville, and Angels Camp, and then 30s for Truckee and South Lake Tahoe. Cold winds through tonight, which will be a part of the forecast, though a little bit.
Okay, you're following him.
See some dry offshore winds.
It's been going on
Gonna warm things up.
for an hour.
Again for tonight, a little bit of
She started around 5-10 minutes ago.
Because this is turning out to be a very dangerous situation. Let's go to Bill Thomas in Air 7 HD, as he is also following this bill.
5-10 minutes ago.
Take us over this chase, which began earlier in West Covina, right around 3 this afternoon. You're looking at what's reported as a grand theft auto suspect.
Just started right around 5-10 minutes ago.
They're overhead with their helicopter right now. They're assisting West
Yeah, I
Covina
know.
police officers.
5-10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes. 10 minutes ago.
That is a
5 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago.
We saw the
10
T1
minutes
car a
ago.
couple of minutes ago.
Okay,
Looked like it
they're
had
following
four
two buses
plates.
now.
The sheriff's department telling us this is reported to be a grand theft auto suspect. In addition to the driver, there may be somebody in the back seat as well. We saw some movement in the back seat. You never know who that is. That could be someone going along for the ride or someone being held against their will. And at these speeds, a pit maneuver is clearly out of the question. Now, began at West Covina on surface streets. It wasn't too long before the guy picked up the San Bernardino Freeway, then to the 57 freeway. Wound his way through Diamond Bar, also through Pomona, Claremont, and San Dimas. And right now we're coming up on the 210 to the 57 freeway, right adjacent to those two freeways. Not sure if he'll jump back on the freeway once again or if he even knows this area, but at one point he was reportedly doing 90, maybe 95 miles per hour on the interstate. And on surface streets, we've heard some traffic from police officers on the ground indicating he's doing 60, 70 miles per hour, running red lights, running stop signs, driving on the wrong side of the street. A short while ago, maybe 10 minutes ago, before we went live, we watched this guy go through a residential neighborhood up on a sidewalk. Extremely dangerous under any condition, particularly right now in the middle of the afternoon when folks are coming to and from school, kids in the neighborhood, folks trying to get around town, just running errands. Fortunately, as far as we can tell so far, there haven't been any collisions, but more near misses than you can count. There goes through another intersection. That might be another red red light. At times when they're doing these pursuits, what they'll do when it gets too erratic like this, when the speeds get too crazy, they'll pull off, give the guy a little bit of a berth, make him think he's gotten away, but keep the helicopter overhead to track his movements, and then when he finally does come to a stop, they can bring in police officers and make the arrest. But so far, we're going to open up that shot for you in just a bit, and police officers, as you can see, they're still right on top of this guy. They're giving a little bit of a berth, but a number of West Covina police officers right on top of him. Coming up on a red light now, that's going to be Lone Hill Avenue. Looks like he'll make the southbound turn on Lone Hill, and he's just a couple hundred yards away from the Foothill Freeway. This is the 210 near Lone Hill. That's going to be in the San Dimas area, and he might try to re-access the 210 or the 57 freeway. A couple of options right there. We'll see where he goes next. And again, that's reported to be a grand theft auto suspect. In addition to the driver, at least one additional person in the back seat. Not sure if that's a suspect or perhaps a hostage, someone being held against their will. But at this point, with these speeds on surface streets, they can't get in there and do that pit maneuver. They need about 30, 35 miles per hour to do that. And generally, they'll wait till the guy makes a left or a right turn, come up to the rear, and just tip the rear corner panel. Now, this is in Glendora, and he's just picking up the freeway. This is going to be the 210 westbound. Westbound on the 210. He used the Sunflower on-ramp to access the freeway. I can see him right now with a number of police officers right on his tail. And for my money, I think this is a much better bet. You get these guys who are going through the neighborhoods on surface streets, 60, 70 miles per hour, sometimes faster. That's just no time for anyone in the neighborhood to get out of the way. So back onto the freeway. I know a little bit about that car. He's doing a Grand Prix. This looks to be about a 97, maybe a 98 Pontiac Grand Prix. That's got a transverse mounted 6-cylinder engine. At these speeds, he'll be lucky to get 15, maybe 16 miles a gallon. With a full tank, which is about 18 gallons, he's not going to get too far. This has already been going on for at least an hour. Additionally, because that is a grand theft auto suspect, we don't think he's had time to pull over and take on a full tank of gas. So he might have had that car with only a half a tank of fuel or even less. So hopefully at one point, if he doesn't pull over, he'll simply just run out of gas. And that could bring this chase to an end. As you can see, driving very erratically. Max speeds on this freeway is 65 miles per hour, but he's doing at least 80, I would say, even more. 210 westbound, he's gone well past Sunflower, and now he's coming up, going to make his way out toward Irwindale and Duarte and Monrovia. At these speeds, he'll be at the 605 in a matter of 5 or 6 minutes. And at that point, you may have to get off the freeway once again. So if you live anywhere in the San Gabriel Valley, once this does get off the freeway, if it does, stay indoors, stay out of harm's way. Let's go to some video we shot from Air 7 HD just a short while ago. This has been happening for nearly an hour now, but you should be able to see a 2-box. The live shot on the 210 freeway, the westbound 210, just west of the 57. There's some tape that we shot earlier from the helicopter. This guy has run too many red lights, run too many intersections at incredible speeds, almost hitting a car right there, as you can see from the tape that we shot from the helicopter, as you can see from the video, that is. And once again, these speeds would appear to be 75, 80 miles per hour. Fortunately, he does have StabiliTrak, so when he makes those erratic moves at high speeds from one lane to the next, those cars do very well staying upright. A higher profile vehicle, an older vehicle, a larger SUV might not hold up so well. We see a higher incidence of rollovers in those situations, but fortunately staying on all 4 wheels, dodging in and out of lanes. 210 westbound, and another mile, maybe a mile and a half, he'll be at the Azusa Avenue off-ramp on the 210 westbound. And at times going through the center divider in the intersection, we saw, as we mentioned a moment ago, the driver at one point in a very narrow residential neighborhood was actually up on a sidewalk. Extremely dangerous. Here you can see him going around a big rig up on the sidewalk. That's what we were talking about. Couldn't believe it when I saw it. Very easy to cause severe damage or even death driving on a sidewalk in a residential neighborhood at those speeds, particularly in a neighborhood this guy might not be familiar with. Now, the Florida plates thing, we still haven't figured out entirely. We did hear from the Sheriff's Department. This is a grand theft auto suspect, but those are, we believe, Florida plates. But they could be cold plates, could be plates that somebody took and put on this car. Exiting the freeway, this will be somewhere near the Azusa Avenue off-ramp, westbound on the 210. I would have preferred him to stay on the freeway. I think it's safer for everyone involved, but exiting the freeway and running right through that red light, narrowly missing traffic. It's incredible. There haven't been any crashes just yet at these speeds at a very crowded Monday afternoon. Extremely dangerous. See exactly where he goes next, but he got off the freeway, made that northbound turn, might make a rightbound turn. They're getting out. They're going to make a run for it. Passenger door is open. Follow the suspect. Got a guy here in blue jeans, a black shirt, a cap as well. They're going to make that eastbound turn. They're both running together. Go to the top of your screen.
Okay, they're bailing out.
Actually, 3 guys, 1 guy over the wall. That's the guy we're going to keep a very close eye on. That's the guy we believe was the driver running in the neighborhood. Now, if you live nearby, you're going to hear a lot of police activity outside. You might see some of the cruisers. You'll hear the lights and see the lights. You'll hear the sirens. And stay indoors, stay out of harm's way. It's often the case these people will try to find a house with a door that's open or ajar and try to get inside. Don't Don't cause yourself
telephone
any problems. Stay in there. His hands up now. Police officers right on top of that
and
guy.
now they're right on top of him. Let's listen.
He is complying with officers, and that's his advantage. Complying with officers, hands are up, down on your knees. In just a moment, they'll tell you get down on your belly. Spread eagle, just as he's doing right now. Arms spread, legs spread. Blue jeans, black shirt, some kind of a hat, tennis shoes as well. And you can see the police dog is there. The K9 unit from West Covina PD. They're right on top of that guy. He can hear that dog barking. He can look up, and he can see those officers with their very high-powered weapons trained on him. 2 other suspects in the neighborhood, and with all these police officers in the neighborhood, most likely those 2 other guys have been taken into custody. So very gently, very gingerly, they're going to approach that suspect. There's 4, maybe 5 officers there and a police dog. They're going to get one officer very close, right on top of him, make sure he hasn't got any weapons, make sure he's not moving, complying with their every command. And then at one point, one of those officers will move in and put him in handcuffs. Unfortunately, this will come to an end. Cross your legs. He's doing just that. They're telling him to cross his legs. They're going to move in now, put the hands behind his back, put him in handcuffs. We can push in tight now. And fortunately, this chase, which started right around 3 and lasted nearly an hour, has come to an end in the San Gabriel Valley. Working on that exact location. It'll be somewhere near the 210 and Azusa Avenue north of the freeway. First suspect in custody. 2 other people in the car. They got out. You saw it when it came to an end. They made a run for it. We'll find out shortly from law enforcement on the ground if the other 2 have been taken into custody. But fortunately, this one wrapped up and no injuries. Reporting live from Air 7 HD, I'm Bill Thomas, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Bill, thank you. That is just one of, I guess, 3 suspects that have jumped from that car. We watched that closely. We believe that he might be the driver of that car. That's why Bill's stuck on him. But luckily, he ran for a few blocks, suddenly decided that he would have no more of that, and quickly gave himself up without a problem. The other 2 suspects, we are still trying to figure out what exactly is going on as Bill gets his bearings and tries to figure things out. What did you say, Rita? Okay, so we're going to show you some of the details on this high-speed pursuit that was extremely dangerous. And I guess after looking at these, so to speak, near misses or highlights of this high-speed pursuit, we are grateful that no tragedies have occurred because we were on the verge, Ellen.
Some of the worst driving we've seen, up the wrong side of the road, nearly missing cars, traveling at 70 miles an hour on residential streets, up to 100 miles an hour on the freeways, and just completely erratic driving and very unsafe. So it's fortunate it has ended.
We were watching it where he went several city blocks on the wrong side of the road, going at a high rate of speed. Here you see him jump the curb. So he was hell-bent on getting away from police officers at any expense, flying through intersections, not paying attention to lights or traffic, oncoming traffic, etc. Just going right here on the sidewalk.
Look at that.
How often do we see that happen? So basically a desperate attempt to get away at any cost, and that's why we decided to break into our coverage, because of those situations where it was getting extremely dangerous. And obviously we're going into the afternoon rush hour where the streets are filled with people, pedestrians, other drivers.
Exactly.
And this thing was turning out to be quite a mess and quite a big problem here as we continue to watch the situation. So suddenly they did pull over and they jumped out of the vehicle. We knew that there was probably at least 1 person in the back seat of the vehicle, but it turns out, I think Bill said there were 3 people in the car that all took off, went in separate directions. Maybe we can go back to Bill Thomas right now in Air 7 HD. Bill, any other word on the other suspects that ran off?
Yeah, when the car first crashed in the neighborhood here, this is near the 210 and Azusa Avenue, just north of the freeway. All 3 suspects got out and ran. There's the crash right there. He hit a pole. The driver, I believe the guy that was driving, was taken into custody. 2 other guys ran through the neighborhood. Nearby, there's some kind of a shed near where the car crashed. We're hearing police officers discuss at least one of the other suspects is in or near that shed. So we're scouring the neighborhood right now. It's surrounded by West Covina police officers. LA County Sheriff's deputies, they're assisting as well. They've got a K9 unit in the neighborhood too. So shouldn't be too much of a chore to find those other 2 guys. Let's go to some tape, some video we shot from Air 7 HD. Here's the end of the pursuit. It began in West Covina right around 3 this afternoon, went all over the San Gabriel Valley, and there he is hitting a tree or a pole, and all 3 people getting out of the car, the driver and 2 additional folks out of the back seat, making a run for it through the neighborhood. It only took about 30 or 40 seconds before the driver stopped, gave up, put his hands up in the air, surrendered to police officers from West Covina, and taken into custody. Back to our live shot, we see one of the police officers from West Covina running down the sidewalk. This is the general area where at least one of the 2 additional suspects may be right now. So they're scouring the neighborhood, going door to door, house to house, looking at every possible possible nook and cranny, and the police dogs didn't come in handy when they tried to track that second and then the third suspect down. So we can only confirm one of three suspects in custody in the back alley. A couple of additional West police officers scouring the neighborhood. They're going to go by each yard, go to each house, look yard by yard, looking in trash cans, looking behind things. Not going to leave any stone unturned to find those two additional suspects, and hopefully they'll get some additional information from the driver who may be able to tell them a little about those two other people in the car. All three folks did make a run for it. Only one down that we know of, one in custody, and the search for the additional two still going on here in the San Gabriel Valley.
At least 30 minutes
Bill Thomas,
into the
you were
pursuit.
watching
40
Eyewitness
minutes
News at 4
into the
o'clock with
pursuit
Ellen
as
Lehman
well.
and David Ono. We've been watching special coverage. Breaking news of this chase that ended in Azusa just a couple of minutes ago. Went on for a little bit over an hour.
3 p.m.
Dangerous high-speed pursuit, and
Around
unfortunately it
20,
has
25
ended.
minutes ago.
Well, the pursuit part of it has ended, and we believe that the driver was taken into custody. We watched that go down as this driver took off, but there were two other people inside that car. All three split up,
It took
and
30
from
to
what we
40
understand,
seconds
at least one, maybe
get
both,
people
are
under
still
control,
outstanding. We're trying
stop
to
that
get
pursuit.
confirmation of that, but
It
what
went
that's
live
going to
around
mean now
45
is this
minutes ago.
neighborhood is going to go on lockdown in
So
Azusa, and that's going to be
maybe
a
a lockdown
huge
in
inconvenience
Azusa.
for the people who live in this area, and if there are schools, there are potentially schools that could go on lockdown as well.
All right, and Bill Thomas has been covering this, and I
no.
believe the man that surrendered is the driver, so the other two are the passengers. Is that right, Bill?
Yeah, two additional guys got out of the car when they crashed into that pole and got out of that Pontiac Grand Prix, made a run for it through the neighborhood. If you're just now joining us, that was a pursuit in the San Gabriel Valley. Reported to be a grand theft auto suspect. It came to an end here just off of Azusa, north of the 210. Suspect in custody. This is a shed on a property very nearby. They think that suspect may be in that shed. So they got the entire house surrounded right now. They got the neighborhood surrounded, but this house is paying a lot of attention to. There is a police dog in the neighborhood as well, though I haven't seen it brought to this particular location. That police dog was present when they arrested what we believe to be the driver. But right now this property is surrounded with West Covina police officers. That was the LA County Sheriff's helicopter. They're assisting West Covina PD. He's still orbiting the area overhead. And at one point they'll have to move into that shed and see if in fact their second suspect is inside. And then once that guy's taken into custody, we're still looking for suspect number 3. And back to you.
All right, Bill, you stay on top of it and continue to monitor the situation. We're going to check back in with you in just a few minutes.
But in the meantime, we have more breaking news this afternoon.
Actually reached out to us last year, and I've been trying to get a hold of them, but it's really hard to find someone who remembers him, who was inspired by him, because unfortunately, a lot of them have passed away. I was able to track down his family through a realtor, and they were so glad to be able to do this story and talk about their dad, their grandfather, because they told me that he really, really modest, and they didn't really know a lot of his accomplishments because he was so modest.
Okay, that suspect has been tased, bitten by a dog, or say, I believe, yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. Check out. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out this video. Pops up here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah. Okay, check out this video. Pops up here. See you guys in the next video. Later. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later on tonight. Later on tonight. See you guys in the next video. Later on tonight. So, thanks for watching. Bye.
Right now we have clear skies. Our rating at 60 degrees for Sacramento's